Have you ever stopped to realize how from an early age we're conditioned to believe that life is a constant struggle? That in order to achieve anything meaningful we must fight, push, sacrifice, and exhaust ourselves. This very mindset has spilled over into the practice of manifestation as well. People are taught to visualize endlessly, to repeat affirmations hundreds of times each day, to chase cosmic signs, and to constantly try to fix their vibration. But let me ask you, if manifestation is truly quantum, if it is built upon the very principles that shape reality at its deepest level, why would it need to be complicated? Why would the universe, which is structured on harmony and coherence, demand exhaustion? The truth that most people overlook is that manifestation is far simpler than they can accept. It is so effortless that the rational mind rejects it, because conditioning insists, if it's simple, it can't be real. And that single belief alone blocks the shift you're seeking. So let's begin by dissolving the illusion. Picture a radio. To listen to your favorite song, you don't tear down the station, beg the music to play, or repeat commands until the sound appears. You simply tune into the right frequency, and the music is already there. The station was always transmitting whether you struggled or not. That's exactly how the quantum field operates. All possible realities are already broadcasting. You don't create them through struggle. You don't need to chase them. You only need to tune in. Yet here lies the trap. Because we've been raised to equate results with struggle, we overlook the simplicity of tuning. Instead, we keep spinning the dial restlessly, never staying long enough to truly hear the song. Science already revealed this principle long ago. The famous double-slit experiment showed us that reality remains in potential form until it is observed. This means potential exists everywhere, at all times. Manifestation isn't about pushing reality into being. It's about aligning with it so cleanly that it has no option but to reveal itself in your experience. But most people get caught in the loop of overdoing. They affirm with hidden doubt. They visualize with impatience. They act out of fear. This constant noise sends mixed frequencies into the field. The universe isn't confused. It simply reflects back exactly what you are transmitting: doubt, lack, confusion. The problem isn't that manifestation doesn't work. The problem is people overcomplicate what is inherently simple. Let me illustrate with a story you might recognize. A woman once told me she spent over 2 years trying to manifest her dream job. She built vision boards. She spoke affirmations daily. She filled journals with detailed scripts of her ideal work life. She visualized every morning and night, yet nothing shifted. Why? Because behind each of those actions lived the vibration of, "I don't have it yet." The more she tried, the more she confirmed the absence. But the shift came in a single morning when she decided to act as though it was already complete. She woke up, dressed as if she were headed to her first day at the new job, and moved through her day with the certainty of someone already living it. Within 2 weeks, an unexpected opportunity appeared. What changed wasn't the external world, it was her vibration. She stopped transmitting lack and tuned into the frequency of fulfillment. And that is the key many teachers skip over, because it sounds too easy to sell. But the quantum field doesn't respond to effort. It responds to coherence. Coherence means your mind, emotions, and body are all moving in the same direction. It means nothing within you is contradicting itself. When you declare, "I am abundant," but your chest is heavy with anxiety, your signal is split. When you picture wealth but glance at your bank account with dread, your frequency is incoherent. But when you embody simplicity, when your thoughts, feelings, and actions all line up with your declaration, the field locks in your chosen reality with precision. So why do so many reject this? Because the mind despises what it cannot control. Simplicity strips the ego of its drama. The ego craves the sensation of doing, pushing, working, fighting. But the universe does not reward chaos. It responds to clarity, and clarity is always simple. The irony is that the more we complicate manifestation, the longer it takes. The more we simplify, the faster it flows. This message you're hearing right now is about showing you the one principle you need to understand about manifestation. Your job is not to force, but to align, not to chase, but to embody. Once you see how simple it truly is, You'll stop wasting years looping in lack and start stepping into alignment with ease. Now let's clear up a huge misconception about manifestation. Simplicity does not equal laziness. When people first hear this, their conditioned minds jump to, "So you're telling me to just sit on the couch, do nothing, and wait for magic to appear?" Absolutely not. Simplicity doesn't mean the absence of action. It means aligned action. In physics, energy follows the path of least resistance. Rivers don't strain to carve valleys. Electricity doesn't wrestle to find a circuit. Light doesn't argue before traveling. Energy simply flows where resonance and openness exist. The same is true for you. Your desires are already patterns of energy within the field. The less resistance you carry, the more direct your vibration, the faster the field mirrors it back. But most people attack their goals with noise. They overthink, overplan, overcontrol. They say they want love but dictate exactly how and when it must arrive. They say they want abundance but drown in doubt about their worthiness. This is not alignment, it's distortion. And in quantum language, distortion creates decoherence. When particles are out of sync, their waves cancel each other. The result: chaos, fragmentation, wasted energy. But when they vibrate in harmony, they amplify into a unified force. That is alignment in practice. Neville Goddard once said, "You do not attract what you want. You attract what you are." This is the essence of simplicity. When you become the person who already has it, you no longer chase it. Your vibration magnetizes it naturally. Laziness sits back waiting. Alignment lives the reality now, making the shift inevitable. And here's the paradox: when you're truly aligned, you often end up doing less. Not because you're idle, but because unnecessary effort falls away. You stop wasting energy in doubt, micromanagement, or fear. You stop fighting the river and instead float with it. And because of that, what you desire reaches you faster with greater ease. Research backs this up too. Dr. Joe Dispenza's studies reveal that when the heart and brain achieve coherence, the body generates a measurable electromagnetic field, extending several feet outward. This coherent signal doesn't just affect your body, it interacts with the quantum field itself. People in his experiments shifted biology, healed, and experienced synchronicities that defied logic. The takeaway is simple: when your thoughts, body, and emotions align, the field listens. This isn't mystical poetry, it's physics. So why is it so hard for people to accept? Because we live in a society that equates effort with worth. You've been trained to believe the more you suffer, the more valuable the outcome. That sweat, grind, and struggle equal results. But the quantum field doesn't care how much you've suffered. It doesn't reward exhaustion. It only responds to clarity. And clarity always looks simple. That's why spiritual masters spoke of surrender, silence, stillness. They weren't preaching laziness. They were teaching resonance. Imagine two people planting seeds. One digs obsessively, waters excessively, checks daily, uproots the soil constantly, worrying about the sun and rain. The other plants carefully, waters gently, and trusts nature to take over. Which garden thrives? The first person's interference disrupts the natural process. The second person's alignment allows flourishing. This is your life. Simplicity is planting and trusting. Laziness is not planting at all. Effort without alignment is digging up your soil endlessly. True alignment is planting once, knowing harvest is inevitable. In manifestation, simplicity isn't about inactivity. It's about aligned activity and allowing the field to do the heavy lifting. When you simplify, the field arranges everything for you. Suddenly doors open, opportunities emerge, synchronicities guide your steps, all without struggle. This looks like magic from the outside. But what it really is coherence at work. Simplicity is mastery. It's the art of aligning so clearly with your chosen frequency that reality bends to meet you. The universe doesn't count how tired you are. It doesn't measure how hard you tried. It mirrors the signal you broadcast. And when that signal is simple, clear, and aligned, nothing can block the reality you're tuned into. Manifestation isn't a mystical trick. It is the science of coherence. In physics, coherence describes how waves synchronize to move as one unified system. When light waves are aligned, they amplify into a laser that can cut through steel. When light is scattered, it becomes nothing more than a weak glow. The same principle applies to your life. If your thoughts, emotions, and body are scattered, the field receives a weak signal. But when they are aligned, you generate a laser-like frequency reality cannot ignore. Neuroscience and physiology confirm this. The HeartMath Institute shows the heart produces the strongest electromagnetic field in the body, measurable several feet outward. When the brain and heart synchronize, the body functions more efficiently and the signal stabilizes. Dr. Joe Dispenza's work reveals people in coherence shift their brain into heightened gamma states and often experience rapid healing and synchronicities. Mystics always knew inner coherence creates outer influence. But most people live fragmented. They think one thing, feel another, and act from fear. For example, someone may think, "I want abundance," yet feel anxious over bills and act from scarcity. That incoherence doesn't just confuse the mind, it sends mixed signals into the field. It's like trying to collapse two opposing realities at once. Instead of amplifying, the waves cancel. That's why so many remain stuck. The field simply reflects the dominant vibration, usually doubt or fear. The key to effortless manifestation is realizing less is more. Not because you take fewer actions, but because you align more deeply. Strip away contradiction. When your mind, body, and emotions march in the same direction, the field responds instantly. It doesn't require endless rituals or years of repetition. It only requires coherence. That's why some people manifest instantly. It's not luck, it's alignment. Superposition in quantum mechanics proves this. Before observation, particles exist in multiple states at once. The moment observation occurs, one outcome collapses into form. Life works the same way. You're always surrounded by infinite possibilities. Which one collapses depends on your signal. If your mind says yes but your heart says no, nothing stabilizes. But when your entire being broadcasts a coherent yes, the collapse is immediate. That's not magic, that's physics. And here lies the paradox of effort. The harder you try from a fragmented state, the weaker your signal. Think of straining to fall asleep. The more you try, the harder it becomes. Why? Because effort itself declares, "I am not asleep." Similarly, effort born from lack declares, "I don't have this yet," reinforcing absence. Effortless manifestation doesn't mean no action. It means your actions flow naturally from alignment. Instead of struggle, you act with precision. Instead of forcing, you align. That's why when you quiet the noise, bring your heart, brain, and body into coherence, results appear so quickly they seem miraculous. But they aren't miracles. They're physics working exactly as designed. Spiritual teachers like Neville Goddard and Florence Scovel Shin always emphasized feeling it real. They knew it wasn't enough to think affirmations. You must embody them emotionally and physically until your entire being vibrates with them. That's just coherence in spiritual language. When you think wealth, feel wealth, and live as wealth, the field responds. Whether you call it science or spirituality, coherence creates reality. This is why the path of manifestation isn't complexity, it's coherence. The less divided you are, the more powerful you become. Once you master coherence, you'll see that reality doesn't bend to effort. It bends to alignment. But understanding this concept isn't enough. You must practice it. Most people overcomplicate manifestation with rituals and repetitions. The field doesn't respond to noise, it responds to clarity. That's why the fastest results come when you make 3 subtle shifts. Shift 1, choose clarity over control. Most suffering comes from obsessing over how, when, and who. But quantum physics shows the how is already encoded. Your job isn't to design the path, but to align with the outcome. Shift 2, drop the timeline. Time is an illusion in manifestation. The field doesn't work by deadlines, it works by readiness. Neville Goddard said, "Assume the feeling of the wish fulfilled." He never said, "By Friday." Readiness collapses the outcome, not the calendar. Shift 3. Trust your first alignment. The moment you first felt the spark of desire, you sent a complete signal into the field. Repetition often signals doubt, not power. You don't beg the radio to play the song. You tune once and stay there. These 3 shifts, clarity, timelessness, trust, are the heart of effortless manifestation. Physics itself mirrors this truth in the principle of resonance. When 2 systems vibrate at the same frequency, They exchange energy effortlessly. That's why a singer can shatter glass with one note. The same principle applies to you. Stop forcing, start resonating. Reality collapses just as powerfully, and words are part of this resonance. Every time you declare something fully, you program your field. That's why right now, I invite you to affirm, I allow it to be easy, not as a casual phrase but as a quantum command. This declaration signals that you've chosen resonance over control, simplicity over struggle. The field mirrors trust faster than doubt. So breathe and let it land. Simplicity is not laziness, it is intelligence, quantum intelligence. Once you embody it, life organizes itself in ways you could never plan. That's the power of letting it be easy. Here's a truth: the timeline you seek isn't being built. It already exists. You've tuned into it many times before in flashes of certainty, those moments where you knew, it's done. The problem is you tune out just as quickly. The mind interrupts, it can't be this easy, and the signal drops. But the field never withholds. It mirrors your vibration in real time. The reality you want is waiting. It responds the moment you stay tuned. Quantum physics even explains this. Hugh Everett's many worlds interpretation shows every outcome exists simultaneously. Each choice collapses into a different branch of reality. Spiritually, this branching happens inside your consciousness. You're not waiting for your dream to be built. You're aligning with the branch where it's already true. Neville called this living in the end. Joe Dispenza calls it tuning to a new frequency. Physicist David Bohm described it as the obligate order, where everything already exists, waiting to unfold. Different words, same truth. You are not manifesting something new. You are remembering what already exists, and this remembering ends the struggle. You stop asking, when will it happen? And instead affirm, it is happening. You stop strategizing endless steps and instead embody the end state. This isn't passive, it's active resonance. The timeline doesn't need force, it needs permission. Permission comes through surrender. Every time you release control, you align closer with your higher self, the version already living it. Why does this work? Because coherence collapses probability into actuality. Imagine your desires as tuning forks vibrating in the quantum. Each fork is a possible reality. When you align, you strike the fork of your chosen reality. Immediately, the two resonate. You don't need to run around hitting every fork. Just hold one vibration long enough. But most people don't. They feel alignment briefly, then doubt creeps in. It can't be enough. They complicate, overpractice, and lose resonance. The fork stops vibrating, not because the universe denied them, but because they denied simplicity. Here's the paradox: the easier you allow it, the faster it arrives. That's why mystics taught detachment. Not detachment from desire, but detachment from control. You're not meant to chase reality like prey. You're meant to invite it by becoming the frequency. Think of gravity. You don't beg it to pull apples down. You simply wait until the fruit ripens, and the fall is inevitable. Manifestation works the same way. The fruit is heavy with potential, and the fall happens the moment alignment is reached. Think about your own life. How many times did things finally work out the moment you stopped trying so hard? That wasn't coincidence. That was quantum law. Every surrender you've ever experienced was a mini manifestation. Every release of control created space for the field to respond. You weren't lucky, you were aligned. And now that you see the pattern, you can choose it consciously. You're not creating your future, you're collapsing into it. Doubt delays. Surrender accelerates. The timeline is already chosen. The only question is whether you'll keep tuning in or keep tuning out. By now you can feel it, not just as an idea, but as energy in your body. Something shifted. Because the truth is, manifestation was never about chasing, proving, or grinding. It's always been about remembering that your dream reality already exists, right now, waiting in the quantum. And when you stop forcing and start resonating, everything rearranges effortlessly. Most people won't believe it because it's too simple. But you do. Otherwise you wouldn't even be here, drawn to this message. The universe isn't rewarding struggle. It's not responding to effort. It responds to coherence. And coherence happens the moment you stop scattering your energy and embody one truth. I already am. That's the frequency of power, of surrender, of alignment, and that frequency collapses timelines. Right now, with every breath, thought, and declaration, you're not just imagining your future, you're choosing it. And the beauty is, you don't need to try harder. You need to remember deeper. So take a deep breath. Whisper, "It is already done." That vibration, spoken with conviction, is a quantum command. The moment you declare it, you step into it. That's why manifestation feels so elusive for many. They complicate what was meant to be effortless. The quantum doesn't need effort. It needs coherence. If this message stirred something in you, if you feel ready to anchor this frequency permanently, I've created something for you. My guidebook, Awaken Your Quantum Power, is a step-by-step path through the 7 principles that let you align with your highest timeline. Not more tricks, but the laws of resonance working consciously in your favor. You'll find the link below. Remember, the field isn't testing you. It's not holding back. It's responding right now to who you are being. You don't have to wait. You don't have to chase.